everybody, it's Craig from Doc Sports. We're back with Doc's Daily. It's Tuesday edition, Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, and hope everybody's ready for some winners. We did pretty good yesterday. We had a big play on the Astros. We all agreed, and that one cashed easy as a nice underdog, so hopefully we'll find maybe a consensus play we like as well today. Maybe another underdog. Who knows? Never know what we're going to get. But don't forget, it's 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every day. Like and subscribe so you don't miss out. Turn on that bell so you make sure you get notified when we do go live. And then we also have the Saturday show. We should call it the shit show with Lenny and Griffin. If anybody's ever watched it, it is something else sometimes. It gets a little hairy, fun show, though, so make sure you tune in. Put your calendars for that one as well. I've got a couple housekeeping things, and we'll get in on things. Don't forget to get the free $60 account. If you're a new customer, check us out. People always say, oh, you guys say you win, blah, blah, blah. Listen, we prove we're going to win. All you got to do is get in on it. If you're a new customer, go to docsports.com/free60. Link is in the description, or just type it in, and you can use that $30 to get a day pick pass per sport for any of the cappers here, or anybody on the site, or you can use it towards a longer-term pass, like a week pass. For $99 for a week, you can get like a baseball pass from any of your favorite experts. So make sure you try us out. Also, couple new things, and Lenny's not on, but we're going to toot Lenny's horn. We've got the Premium and Premium Plus, and now we added a entry level, $4.99. You get in on the entry level Premium. That's going to give you 5 videos a week from yours truly, Detroit Lenny. He's in the background here, but he gives out, and you get early access to all of our videos. So a lot of the videos, especially for football season, we might record them on Wednesday or Thursday, and they don't post till Friday or Saturday. Lines might move, that kind of stuff. You're going to get early access to all those. And, of course, we always have the Premium. That's Indian Cowboys level, $19.99, and then the Premium Plus of $49.99. So if you buy the $49.99, you get all the levels below it. Same way with buy the Indian Cowboy, you get the level 1 as well. So make sure you check that out here. Click the link in the description. All right, boys. Now that the housekeeping out of the way, Nick was traveling back from Wisconsin or Minnesota? Minnesota, right?
Wisconsin. I was in Wisconsin.
To me, that's all the same. Like Minnesota, Wisconsin, I couldn't put them on a map, except I know they're near each other. I couldn't be like, yeah. But you had a big concert. You recovered from that. And what do you have for today?
Yeah, we got some exciting stuff. I mean, we got trade deadline rolling around here. How about the Milwaukee Brewers taking over first in the NL Central? We'll get into that. And Tony, congrats on your Kansas City Royals. Absolutely gave my Cubbies a butt whooping yesterday. But, man, they got Rich Hill back on the mound here tonight, so we'll talk about that one. CFL over the weekend, absolutely killed it. 3-1, hit my 6-unit Tiger Cats on Sunday. We also swept 2-0 on Sunday, MLB. We dropped yesterday on Monday, Craig, with the Cincinnati Reds losing to the Washington Nationals. Come on. It's all right. We'll bounce back here. We got a 2-pack tonight. First game starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're locked and loaded. WNBA as well.
Yeah, Tony, did I see you have a WNBA play tonight?
Yeah, we have a rare 7-unit play. Again, I'm one of the guys on the website that probably have the least amount of top picks. I'm just old school when it comes to that. But at day's end, we've had finished on a nice 10-4 run, did a nice little video yesterday here on the YouTube channel for kind of the season recap and a look ahead to the second half of the season with my staff capper for the WNBA. But we're ramped up. This is my biggest card of the year in the WNBA. We have a 7-unit top pick and a 4-unit pick on an 11-unit card, which is very rare for me when it comes to the WNBA. So we usually cherry pick one best bet a day. We pass some days, but yeah, we have a big card tonight in the WNBA. We're geared up and ready to go. And in Major League Baseball, we won yesterday with the Pirates over Lenny's Tigers, which I enjoyed greatly. Blanked them 3-0. They tough spot for the Tigers yesterday with that travel, playing late in Texas, and then they had to take a look at Paul Skeens. You know how that's going to work out. And there was a reason, although Pittsburgh's been sucking, they were favored in that game. Odds makers kind of tipped their hand there. And we have a 3-play prop card tonight in Major League Baseball. 2 props in one game, including a Nerfy play and then a pitcher prop. And then we have another pitcher prop today as well. So fired up and doing a lot of work getting ready for football as well. So real busy here.
Yeah, Nebraska Tony. That's what he's going to be known soon. The year. I've been saying that for a long time for Nebraska. Like, I keep waiting, but we'll get more into that, of course, over the next couple of weeks.
Taking on the Bearcats in Kansas City to open up the season. I got a suite down at Arrowhead. About 30 friends coming, friends and family. We'll be tweeting out some pictures from Arrowhead in the suite and
if you don't win that
one, Bearcats.
If you don't win that one, it's going to be a long year because I do think the Bearcats going to have a little rough year this year. But don't forget, you can get all of our plays. Go over to DocSports.com. Use that promo code July10, JULYTEN. Get you 10% off today. So get you a little extra bonus for any of these guys. Like Tony said, usually you don't have chances to play more than one game in the WNBA, Tony, because a lot of times there's only one or two games. This is a rare where we have 4 games today. We're going to have more, though, because we've got expansion coming in the WNBA. So for guys that don't follow the WNBA, don't bet it, you need to kind of put that in your Rolodex of things that you like to do because you're going to get more options come next year. I think next year, the year after, I think there's 3 years in a row they have expansion, including 4, I guess, because they had expansion this year. So we'll maybe get to the WNBA a little bit today, but for sure we're talking baseball. If you want in, go over to DocSports.com to get in our top place. Okay, Nick, let's kick it off with you. MLB yesterday had some big underdogs and had some big chances, like the catcher interference in the Red Sox game. That could have been a big underdog, but there was a lot of underdog winners yesterday. Do you have maybe a gem here for us today for a free play level?
I mean, it's not an underdog, but let's be real. The team that has the best record in MLB baseball right now is not favored with Mizorowski on the mound. I don't know what's going on here. They're on an 11-game winning streak, and they fly under the radar all season long. Why? Because their starting pitchers give you quality starts. You look at it. Freddie Peralta, he's 12-4. His ERA is under 3 here. You look at Woodruff. You look at Mizorowski, came out of nowhere here now. Now they fly under the radar, and now they take the first and the best record in MLB here. Give me the Milwaukee Brewers. I understand Logan Gilbert's on the mound here, but Logan Gilbert's only 2-3 on this season here. His ERA is over 3, and he gives up a lot of home runs, especially solo home runs early on in the game. So if you want to take the Milwaukee Brewers here, first 5 innings and eliminate that bullpen here for the Milwaukee Brewers, even though the Milwaukee Brewers are fine on the bullpen side of things. They're 6th right now in ERA as a whole staff here. But I love this Milwaukee Brewers team. The trend is your friend. Ride Mizorowski. If you like him, first 5 innings, take that money line. But I'm all over this Milwaukee Brewers team. They continue to fly under the radar. They got Yelich. Yeah, he's been an all-star, but he's more towards his end of his year here. You got Andrew Vaughn from the White Sox. That was a great pickup. He's a power hitter. You got Rhys Hopkins. He's a power hitter as well. So these guys are flying under the radar, but we'll get more into it because I want to talk about this NL Central division here. But take the Milwaukee Brewers first 5 with Mizorowski on the mound over Logan Gilbert plus money here. Correct.
Yeah, tough division. I mean, we'll get the free plays from all of us, and then we'll go back to the division play. Tony, when you look at this card today, we're one series away from the All-Star break, so things kind of settled down a little bit. Is there something that you, outside of the ones, of course, that you like that you're giving out to your customers, that you like? Here's free play.
Yeah, the strategy for the week after the All-Star break is just to find the best bet on the board and bet it. I just cherry pick the best bet on the board till things kind of the dust settles from the break. You know, that's why it's a little bit rare in the WNBA that we have 2 picks tonight, but I think there's some real opportunity there. A lot of public perception lines out there tonight, but one in baseball I was going to take, it opened at 8.5 on the total and dropped down to 8. This was a 10-5 game last night between Cleveland and Baltimore. 15 runs scored. As Nick alluded to with the Milwaukee Brewers, he was talking about quality pitching. There is no quality pitching tonight in this game. You got Young on the hill for Baltimore. He got lit up for 7 against Miami. He's carrying his 7.66 ERA his last 5 games. And Cantillo for Cleveland, a 4.79 ERA. Cleveland's on a 7-3 overrun. Now, I know Cleveland struggles a little bit. If you take a look at their batting average against right-handers, their last 10 games, not very good, but they can get to Young tonight. But the one thing that jumps off the page at me is the Baltimore Orioles bullpen. What a dumpster fire shit show this has been. Their last 3 games, they have a 10.66 ERA. And that's in relief of a starter with 7.6 on his ERA. And Cleveland's bullpen, nothing to brag about. Their last 3, 5.68. This thing dropped down to 8. It's juiced up to minus 115. Give me the over in the Cleveland-Baltimore game tonight.
Yeah, if Cleveland offense could just hit. I mean, they have not been good, not just this year. I mean, it goes back a few years, especially last year. I mean, last year they made the playoffs. It was like every game was one run. It was just like they did it by, hook and crook a little bit, with that good pitching staff. I like a little free play. I'm looking for underdog today. A couple that kind of caught my eye. I kind of like this Angels game. Angels were up yesterday. The Mets came back and beat them. Hendricks, I had faith. He was auto fade for me. I think it was last year and maybe the first few this year. And then he kind of crushed me because I kind of was told staying with it. He's been better than what I thought he could be this year. He doesn't go deep in games, though. We're going to need a little help from the Angels. But Freddie Montas Jr. is just a guy that, he's got a 5.2 ERA for a reason. It's just not that great a pitcher. I don't think they deserve to be this big a favorite. I kind of like him plus 147. I like him a lot more plus 1.5. I was hoping we would get that plus 1.5 at even money. That's, I would be much more comfortable with that. You got to lay a little juice with the plus 1.5, but I'm going to take it. I just think it's going to be a much closer game than what the line suggests. The other game I kind of thought he's not here today, but this White Sox team, I couldn't believe they swept over the start. That's what tells you why Tony said dangerous after All-Star breaks. I mean, you've seen some of the teams that won. It was some of the worst teams in the league. The Rockies won their series too, right? Didn't they win 2 or 3?
Yes,
yeah, it's like the 2 worst teams in baseball had a winning series. I don't think that's happened on the same time in a long time for this season. So, but let's talk a little division matchups for rest of this season, because we do see a lot of division matchups down the stretch here. Of course, baseball kind of match them up before the end of the year. And we got the trade deadline. So there's a lot to unpackage here when 9 days out? I think it's the 31st, right? The trade deadline? I believe 31st. Yeah. So there's a lot of teams that are middling, where they're about 500, but they're only 4 or 5 games out of that last place, of the wild card. So how you finish might be determined if you're a seller or a buyer, including teams. You got you got good teams like the Cubs, the Brewers in the Central, but then you have teams like, the Reds and the Cardinals that are basically about 500, a few games up, 4 games below. What happens with them? And then, of course, the lowly Pirates. Nick, you're very obviously wearing the Cubs hat here. What do you think happens in this division here? Because it's pretty tight.
It is. And I think the top 2, the Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs at the trade deadline, need to be buyers. And people underneath that, like the St. Louis Cardinals, when you got Arenado right there, you got to be sellers right there. You got to build and you got to get farm players in your system here. But what I look at this NL Central division, the Milwaukee Brewers, they're going to get a star player. Maybe a Suarez type of thing out of Arizona here. They need another bat, another fielder. I think their pitching staff is fine, but you need a star player here on the position side. For the Chicago Cubs, on the other hand, you need a starting pitcher here. You need a pitcher that's going to give you quality starts like Cabrera in Miami. So that I'm eyeing up, and he's actually pitching here tonight. So we'll see closer to the trade deadline, but it's going to be the Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs. You got to be buyers here at the trade deadline. Anybody else underneath that in the division, you got to be sellers here and regroup for next year.
What's the Cubs, the big prospect they have that they've really been reluctant to giving up? I can't think of freaking his name, but that's going to be the key. Will the Cubs trade him? Because you could go get pretty much anybody you want out there pitching wise that's going to be available for them, if they're willing to give them up. I don't know. That's always a tough call when you're coming, because you could be trading away your potential future. And
I honestly, from a Cubs
Kelly, what do you like Kelly, Arizona? What do you think about him?
He's been good. He's been great. You saw what he did yesterday. Obviously, he had a nice little poke there. But I would, if I'm the Cubs front office, I'm going to have Ian Happ and Suzuki, and I'm going to get a star starter for the trade deadline. I'm giving up those 2 players. We have enough position players to fill those gaps in the outfield. Obviously, with PCA, you got Tucker. You better extend his contract. You better extend Kyle Tucker's contract here. He's a great outfielder, and he will be for years to come. But you just got to go out and get a horse for the Cubs.
Yeah. Do you because we've seen that teams, you don't have to win the division to win the World Series anymore. That's just, especially with the extended wild card. is it something like, that maybe one of these teams could stand pat? They've obviously been very good, especially the Brewers. Like, they've been really, really good. So breaking up a team to maybe try to go win the division when you really don't need to. I mean, both these teams should make the playoff. Is that something that you worry about as a Cubs fan?
Yeah, 100%. Because when you do get in that wild card, you're going to be playing obviously the divisional winner. So you want to win. You want to win your division, get that home field, so to speak. So you want to win those pennants. But what the Cubs need to do, and I sound like a broken record every time saying it, go out and get a horse, get a starting pitcher that's going to give you quality starts like the Milwaukee Brewers have in Freddie Peralta this year. You got to get a guy like that. I understand Justin Steele went down, and that kind of hurt us. And Imanaga, yeah, he's been hurt as well. But we got to go out and get somebody if you want to win this division.
Well, I'm pretty excited with this division. My Reds have looked good, and we've got Hunter Green supposedly going to be back here in the next week and a half. Like, we've been doing it without the ace. Like, if he can come back and be what he was at the beginning of the year, I think the Reds, they're not going to win the division. There's too much work to be done there with hop both teams too. But I do think they can win the second or third wild card, or at least potentially be in that race. Tony, when you look at your Royals, and that's a winnable division, like, because there's nobody that scares me in that division. Like, I know the Tigers are what they started, but we kind of seen they've come back to the pack a little bit. And I don't know what they're going to do. You know what I mean? Like, because what do you do if you're the Tigers? Because you're going to have to pay Scooble in a couple years. Like, you're going to have to break the bank. So what do you think of this division, the Central and the AL here?
Well, I think it's Detroit's to lose. They got a 10-game lead here. Kansas City and Cleveland are basically 10 games back. Kansas City 11. Minnesota, too. You're going to have a dogfight between those three. Obviously, you got to throw the White Sox to the curb. But Minnesota, Kansas City, and Cleveland are going to be busy trying to figure out who's going to be second and maybe get a wild card. But at the day's end, if Kansas City is not buying hitters at free agency, they're going to kill themselves. They're going to knock themselves out of it. They just have no – I know they put up 12 last night against Knicks Cubs out of nowhere, which just shocked the piss out of everybody. I had to do a double take on the score. I wasn't even going to watch the game.
It was brutal.
Yeah. And then I saw the score when I finally took a look at my app. I'm like, put away the Netflix account, honey. We're turning – because it's rare that we're going to beat the Cubs 12-5. But Kansas City needs to buy. I don't know. I don't think that if anybody can sneak up on them is probably Cleveland. I don't think Kansas City. I don't think they're going to spend any money at the deadline to get some hitters. We need more than one hitter. Yep. We need a couple. I
don't know how many hitters are available too. That's the other thing.
That's the problem. There's more pitchers than there are hitters. Yeah. Maybe if you hung Noah Cameron out there and dangled him, maybe, to somebody, because he's a promising left-handed pitcher we have.
Yep.
He could be one of the stars of the starting rotation here in the future. If you dangled him, maybe you could get, somebody to bite, but I don't know how they're going to find any hitters if they don't dangle one of their better players. And I think he might be the carrot that they dangle. We'll have to just see.
It's a lot.
I haven't heard anything locally at all.
It's a lot for both Kansas City and Minnesota, I believe, to hop all the teams in front of them. So it's like, I just don't know how much either one of them want to risk the future, if you know what I mean. To try to make a wild card this year. It is a winnable. The AL is open, though, I do think this year. Because if Detroit's the best team, they don't scare me. The Yankees, we talked a lot about them yesterday, and the Blue Jays, neither one of them scare me. I think you could beat either one of them in a series. Like Red Sox, like Rays, they go down through all the teams. Who in the AL really scares you? There's really not anybody. The AL has a lot deeper teams, I think.
By the way, behind the scenes, Lenny just quit.
Hey, this time last year, me and Lenny were talking, and he was begging that the Tigers make, stand pat, not trade Scooble. Obviously, it worked out. But remember, they were 500 about this time last year, and made that amazing last month in the season run, and they've kind of kept it going, But they kind of hit the skid there. What, about a week ago? I mean, what are they? 7 and they've lost 7 or 6 of the last 7, right?
Yep.
So it's like, today is a get right day. I do think if you can't beat the Pirates today, I do think they have a starting pitching, a little late starting pitching. They got to win this one today. And I do think they face Arizona here, I think, next week. So that could be interesting because Arizona, they're, I think, one game below 500. So they're going to be must win if they want to get, have ownership make a trade at the trade deadline.
Arizona's playing well, too.
I'm curious to get Nick's opinion on the NL East. What's your thoughts between Philadelphia and the Mets? That's a 2-horse race there. That looks like it's too close to call to me.
It is, but I'm going to go on historical data. The Mets, they choke. They choke. Okay. These Phillies, they're going to get themselves in a spot here to potentially win that division. I'm all over the Phillies. I think it's the Phillies division to lose. Yes, the New York Mets will get in these spurts of winning streaks, but you got to finish. So we'll see if they finish. I lean more towards the Phillies winning that division, though, over the New York Mets. But it's going to be a close one. But can the Mets get over that hump and not choke at the end of it?
Right.
Well, the Phillies have something you can fix, though. Their bullpen is an issue, but that's something you can fix at the trade deadline. It's like when you have like Kansas City hitting. My Reds needs hitters. Like that's a lot tougher thing to fix, especially when you need more than one guy. Whereas like you can go get a couple cheap bullpen guys that I think can help fix them. I don't know about the Mets. Well, like the Soto deal has not worked out. Soto has not performed for the money that they're paying him. I'm sure they wish they spent that a little more wisely, and the Yankees are probably saying, "Thank God we didn't have to pay him that kind of money." Tony, what do you think? You think the Phillies or
I think I like the Phillies. I don't think the Mets can do what they did last. You can't win that division. Wait until last minute. I think Philly's more consistent, and I think that's the difference.
Yeah, Wheeler's been great. We were just talking yesterday. I think it was on Doc Sale yesterday about Wheeler. He's already announced, which is a weird way to do it, that he's going to play like 2 more years. Like I don't think I've ever seen a guy that says I'm going to play till like if it's not next year. And people said, okay, if you project what he's been doing the last few years, he's definitely picked it up in his career as far as strikeouts and wins. If he can do this, is he a borderline Hall of Famer? And he's not, but he's right on, he's right on the cusp because he's been very consistent the last few years.
He reminds me of a Roy Halladay back in the day. He always quality starts. He gets guys out early on and he gets ahead of hitters. So that's what Wheeler does consistently throughout his career is get ahead of hitters and give quality starts for the Phillies. And that's his whole
I don't think he's going to end up with enough wins to end up in the Hall of Fame because he's not going to have the strikeouts for sure because that's kind of not his pure game. But I don't think he's going to end up with the wins. You never know because it's going to get watered down eventually unless they start allowing the steroid guys in. It's like you're going to start getting watered down.
Tony, because we got the Cubs hat on and the Kansas City Royals and the Royals and Cubs play tonight, give me your thought process here. You got Rich Hill starting on the mound. This guy's 45 years old. I mean, you see those jerseys right behind it, Rich? Go ahead and hang it up, buddy. Come on. What's going on here? What are your thoughts?
I thought he was with the Savannah Bananas or something. I couldn't believe this guy was still pitching.
Man.
45 years old. I mean, in his 6th start in the minors, I think his ERA was over a 6.6 or something like that. So, hey, I'm thinking a field goal here by the Cubbies today. A little bounce back from yesterday.
You bet the Cubbies run line don't look back. That was an anomaly yesterday. Boyd's good. This guy, they dusted off the cobwebs, cracked open the seal on the crypt and drug him out like Tutankhamun. We're in trouble here, and Cubs are going to be die. That's what yesterday, though, was a real good example. After the All-Star break, you're not focused, but it shows everybody out there that's watching this YouTube channel every day. And I say it a lot. Anybody can beat anybody. The Kansas City can beat the Chicago Cubs by 7 runs on any given day. If the team that's, the heavy wood does not show up. These are pro sports. I'm telling you, the Jacksonville Jaguars could come up here to Kansas City in the football season if we're not paying attention, and they can beat them by 2 touchdowns in Arrowhead. I mean, they have to be dialed in. Yesterday was a perfect example of that, and that's also a perfect example of what I opened up the show with. That's why I'm only cherry picking one game, and a game that means something, that has some meaning to the team that I think's a stronger team. where they're not going to be distracted. I'm not laying heavy wood. And that's kind of the way I'm looking at it here for the next week or so. But yeah, that definitely was an anomaly last night. But tonight, man, it's going to get ugly.
It could get ugly.
You can probably lay the 2.5 run line.
I think by a field goal. Give me -3 for the Cubs.
There you go. There you go.
Lenny, put up, what's the over-under runs allowed by Rich Hill today? What's the prop on that? Because I'm guessing it's probably like 3.5, because he's probably only going to go 3-4 innings. So, but that, I still think it could go over.
If he gets into the 4th inning, I'll be surprised.
Yeah. It's almost like a bullpen type game.
Yeah.
And I think they were like looking at, okay, we're not winning this game because
right.
No matter who they pitch, they were probably going to be at a disadvantage. So you kind of like, wave the white flag a little bit on this game. But remember, Tony made a good point. In baseball, you play 26 games a month. It's not like football where you play basically 4 games a month, maybe 3 sometimes, where you have weeks to prepare and you're more focused. There's a lot of games where, and not only that, there'd be games where they rest players. So, you have to be really paying attention to baseball. Be very, very careful, because you can bury yourself in 1 week in baseball if you're playing 4 plays a day.
Yeah, you can't. And I always say this: what I do and what Robert Faringo or August Young or Nick or Griff or what you guys do, I don't give a rat's ass. I am by design a very low volume guy. I don't find value in putting out 5 or 6 college football games and 5 NFL games on the weekend. You get just as much bang for your buck with a couple of plays worth 6 units total than you do spreading it around with, 12 or 13 units out there on a given day, because of the volatility of sports in general. And, but that doesn't mean that guys that are doing that are wrong.
Yeah.
It's just, that's how I roll. I don't even look to see who has the top play on the site or how I don't really know how you guys are doing. I don't follow Craig. I don't follow Nick. I got such a can of worms with my own stuff. I just worry about my own shop. But that's the nice thing about having 12 handicappers and 3 or 4 consensus type services on Docs. We're like Baskin Robbins. We have different flavors. I might not be your flavor. Maybe you want a lot of action out there, which is one thing that complements all of us is the prop market. Well, I've only got 1 play today that I really like. I think there's probably 3 or 4 games worth betting. I'm on one of them for a strong position, but the ones that don't have value out there to bet, when you start digging in the prop market, you can find angles in that game on props, to complement your side and total wagering, whether it's first 5, whole game, whatever you're doing, run lines. But so you're getting volume with me, but you got to spread it around a little bit, both in the prop market as well as the straight up market.
Yeah, the props is the new wild, wild west of sports betting, because the books really haven't figured it quite out.
It's the soft market.
Yeah.
It's a soft market. And you know how quickly Griff and I just did a whole show on this about 3 weeks ago on the Vegas Beat, talking about the prop market, gave away a hell of a prop market deal. But at the end of the day, books have figured out side and total. Yeah, these lines are sharp. It's hard for us professionally. I don't give a shit what anybody watching this sees on other podcasts out there. No one's winning 70 or 80% of their games. They're not doing it. It's extremely difficult to win 60% in any given season overall. Now, that being said, it's not impossible, because I've done it recently in more than one sport. But that being said, the prop market is different than the side and total market, because books are so quick to react to trends with their lines, and they make them so sharp on the side or total, they catch right up. In the prop market, it takes them forever to catch up to trends. They're still soft. We gave examples on the Vegas Beat show. Just look on this YouTube channel and look for the prop show. But we talked about certain props last year in the NFL that they were absolutely clueless. It was like I was betting a 4-year-old. I couldn't believe it. And we were just pounding the kicker from the Indianapolis all year long. He's making 4, 5, 6 field goals a game. They had him at 1.5, minus 120, minus 115. Finally, they bumped it up to like minus 135. He's still killing it. It takes him forever. And if you're not attacking this market, or you think that it's a gimmick or whatever mindset you have, you need to open up your mind and get out of, I'm just betting sides and totals. I'm not getting involved in that prop market. Well, you're not interested in fattening your wallet.
Yeah, I think what the books, well, obviously they have such a liability on sides and totals because they allow bigger limits. So it's like,
Right.
I think prop market, they figure like, oh, most of them are betting them at $5,000 limit. So they're like, and that guy might be a $25,000 player, so that doesn't worry them as much.
Right.
But I do think it's growing. The popularity is not just the amount of wagers, because the amount of wagers it's only 50% now is sides and totals. The other 50% is props, parlays, teasers, and all that other stuff. So it's growing. It's going to continue to grow, Tony, because of the DraftKings and the FanDuel backgrounds, I believe.
So, a month ago, Circa put out a number. They were right at about 60% of their entire handle for 30 days was props. That tells you, and those are guys in Las Vegas, they're sharp bettors. Yeah. They're not going to town to lose money. The guys that are betting locally, me included, I'm not walking in there to lose money. I'm not, here's $5,000 on a prop, but at least I get 7 free drink tickets. No thanks. I'm there to do one thing, take their money.
Yep. And I think like the more online it is, the more props will grow too, because, like you can really watch the prop market and you shop it around, because they get like they do move the juice a little bit on, from book to book. So it's very important. Lenny always says it, but we can't probably stress enough. Shop your lines, because if you're laying minus 115 when you can, get minus 105 over the course of the year, that's the difference in winning and losing sports betting is, that 10% juice that you're losing. So make sure you're shopping your lines out there. But hey, let's get away with Tony a little. Is there any of those other? I know you have 2, the WNBA games. Is there any of those 2 other WNBA that you might have a little lean for everybody?
Well, speaking of prop bets, what a nice segue, Craig. We didn't even talk ahead of time. You just slid right into it like a hot knife on butter. Prop market in the WNBA tonight. Take a look at Kelsey Mitchell for the Indiana Fever to go over 2.5 3-pointers made against the New York Liberty tonight. It's plus 105. Caitlin Clark, kind of a game time decision. Who knows? Plus, Caitlin Clark, if she does play, she's going to have limited minutes. When she does play, she goes crazy on assists. A lot of them to Mitchell, who's a good shooter. She went for 16 her last game against the Liberty, 2 for 5 from 3-point range in that game. But she's also upped her scoring, and their offense is focused more on her, with Caitlin Clark being so iffy lately. And don't forget that New York allows the 3rd most 3-point attempts in the WNBA. I think she gets over on them tonight with the 3-pointers. Plus, that's Kelsey Mitchell plus 105 to make over 2.5 3-pointers tonight in the Liberty and Fever game. And if you like the side in that, the number's huge. Who lays double digits first game out of the All-Star break? I don't give a rat's ass. Yeah. If you like New York, I'd probably play the first half line only.
I assume with this line they know that Clark's not playing. That's where I'm assuming on that. That's why
I doubt it.
Yeah, I just don't think plays. They have too much in her future. It's like that she needs to sit out for a week or so and get completely healthy before she comes back. She keeps re-injuring it. But I do think they played good without her, though, in spots. Not the last game when it was like, she got hurt. They had to play the next day, I believe it was. But other than that, they played pretty good without her. Stayed in some games. I've been surprised.
Yeah, they went up there in that Commissioner Cup and beat the dog piss out of Minnesota. Yeah, crazy.
I mean, and I think they were like 8-point underdogs in that.
Yeah, they were 8.
and won
Yeah.
by double digits, right? It was like 10 12 points or something. So
it was
so
a
this
huge
team has
number
improved.
over the spread they won
And
by.
be honest, the WNBA has been some huge underdogs this year, winning outright. So don't feel just because you look at the record and you see 4-12 or something that, oh, this team's terrible. Like the gap isn't that big in the WNBA. This isn't the Brooklyn Nets versus the Magic Johnson Lakers. It's just not that way anymore. It's like there's a smaller gap in the WNBA, in my opinion. All right, so there we have it. There's a lot of picks in there. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Don't forget, we'll be back again tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget, if you haven't done so, make sure you check out the premium level 1. Lenny's going to have his video up here soon, or level 2 or level 3. You can get all those, $4.99, $19.99, or $49.99. And that's per month. Link is in the description. Or go over to DocSports.com. Use that promo code July10. Spell out the number TEN, JULTEN, to get 10% off today.
Hey, Nick, Nick, right there. Give me 3.5 runs and I'll bet you $100. Give me 3.5 runs, I'll bet you $100.
Let's do it. That's fine.
Go.
3.5. 3.5.
I owe you 2 steak dinners already on Lost
Yeah.
Bets. I'm trying to get $100 of it back, so it's not going to be so expensive.
Folks, Rich Hill on the bump might be winning by a touchdown, maybe a field goal tonight. Lay it with the Cowboys.
All right, boys. Everybody, thanks again for joining in. We'll see you again tomorrow. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Good luck.